this is Jamie with Greater Than Gatsby, and we're back again to take you through one more full edit using the new Friends collection. If you look at the histogram curve up here, you will see that it is a little bit bright, as well as you can see it with your own eyes. So we are going to use the ugly naked guy exposure for this image. So we're going to go ahead and start by darkening it just a bit. Let me determine if it's going to be darker plus or darker plus plus. And for this image, I just want to go with darker plus. And after I darken it, I do notice that there is a little bit of blown out highlights on the boy's shirt. So before I get started any further, I am going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom to the entertainment unit section, and I am going to do the highlight recovery just to kind of knock that down just a bit. And I can actually reduce the opacity just until we drop down the blown out highlights. And then I'll scroll back up. This time we're going to move on to the Inagi white balance section. And for this one in particular, I do want to add a little bit more magenta just to kind of counterbalance some of those greens. So we're going to go ahead and choose the Magenta Boost Plus to kind of counterbalance those greens. And we're going to bring that down quite a bit, maybe around to, 50%. That looks great. And then the next section we're going to go on to is Monica's Clean Freak Tones and Gladys's Artistic Tones. And once again, if you haven't watched the prior two videos where we explain it a little bit more in detail, you can pick one tone from each section to stack and provide that more tone-on-tone saturation and amplification. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and run down the list of Monica's Clean Freak Tones. And I can already tell you which one I like. I am going to come back up and I'm going to go ahead and use We Are on a Break. But the opacity is a little bit strong, so I am going to bring that down to about 80%. And then we'll move down to Gladys's Artistic Tones so we can go ahead and stack that new layer on there to really bring out those colors in the image. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use Life Was Gonna. I love what that does to the greens, and I'm going to bring that down to 80%. Right there's fine. And then we'll move on to Main Character Energy. And for Main Character Energy, I want to do, let me see, Fun Bobby Subtle Clean. But once again, we will lower the opacity of this one as well, down to about 70%. And then I'm going to move down to Ross's Main Character Annulment. And if you recall from the prior videos, Ross's Main Character Annulment affects the background if it says BG, and it affects the sky if it says sky. So for this one, I am going to use London Baby. And I am going to lower that opacity down to about 65%. And then I'm going to move down to La 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 Light. And I want to utilize, let's see here, Smelly Cat Center, just to kind of bring out some of that light filtering through the top of the trees. And then I'm going to finish with the entertainment unit. And I am going to add some more clarity to this image. So we'll come down to Clarity Boost, and we'll bring that down to about 40%. And then I want to dehaze it just a bit. So I'll add in there the nubbin for the dehaze boost, and I'll bring that down to about 40%. And then I definitely want to darken the edges a little bit. If you see at the bottom, there's a lot of extra light that I kind of want to deepen. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a vignette for this one as well. And that looks pretty good, but I do know I need to add a little bit of brush work here. I do see that the light on the back of the house or the roof of the house is a little bit bright. So I want to kind of affect that or change that a little bit, and maybe right here. So let's go ahead and hit K on the keyboard to bring up that brush, and I will come down to our brushes and I will select the Rescue Highlights, and I just want to deepen a little bit right there and maybe a little bit on the trees just to kind of bring that in. And I'm going to swipe one big swipe at the bottom to kind of darken that up, but I don't want it to affect their legs. So what you can do is you can come up to that brush where you had it and you can hit the subtract button and select your subject to bring that light back onto them. And lastly, I just want to add a little bit of shadow lift. So we'll hit K on the keyboard one more time, and I'll come down to the rescue shadows, and I am just going to paint on a little bit in spots that are a little bit too dark for my liking. Most of it is pretty good. I just want to touch it up just a tiny, tiny bit. Just where I see it's a little bit too dark. Okay. So that is about it. Once again, this was all done solely in Lightroom. It is very fast and easy, but I do want to show you the before and after. So this is before, this is after, this is before, this is after. We went from totally flat and kind of washed out to having that beautiful color and vibrancy and saturation that you love from Greater Than Gatsby. If you have any questions, please visit www.greaterthangatsby.com. We really hope you'll enjoy the new Friends collection, and we can't wait to see what you do with it.